At what point do you move from a pair of loppers to a saw when pruning? Now, loppers are different from pruners. Pruners are very short and for use with one hand, but loppers enables you to use your upper body strength, and the extra length gives you the leverage, meaning you can cut into thicker wood. The question is, of course, is when do you move from loppers to a saw? Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, it's on the packaging. The AMES packaging here clearly identifies 45 millimeters, that's 4.5 centimeters, is the thickness. But that can change. If you've got a very soft piece of wood, obviously you can cut that very easily, and therefore you might be able to cut a bigger one. If it's very hard wood, dried and dead, you know, it might be slightly smaller. So it all depends, of course, naturally, on the thickness and the type of wood that you've got. Now, you can usually work out, if you've got them fully extended, it's the width there. You can't put the pressure on if it's already like that. You can start to put the pressure on if it's here. Again, using your upper muscles to do that. And it's a pretty good, clean cut. I go by feel. It's the bite. You can put it into the wood, and as you start to add the pressure, you'll gain a pretty good indication early on whether the wood's going to cut all the way through. If it is too thick, you'll know that it's too thick. Never start chopping or anything. At the point of knowing that it's too thick, that's when you move on to the saw. Let's put it into action. Right, I'm going to tackle some of the branches just up here using my loppers, and then when it gets too tough, I'll try the saw. But let me just explain why I'm cutting back. You need to keep light in the garden. Plants obviously continue to grow, and trees, and this is a hedge that's really grown over this side, is starting to add shade into the garden. If I'm cutting back and freeing more sunlight to get in, one, it opens up the plant, enabling a bit more light and movement of air through. Secondly, it's allowing more light into the garden so the plants underneath can flourish. And it's not just the plants, it's me sitting out here. I fancy a bit of sunshine late in the evening, and the creatures that live in the garden too. But by pruning back, you are doing some good for the garden, and the light is one of the biggest benefits. So here I am with a pair of loppers. Obviously these smaller branches here are an easy snip. These bigger branches here, well, you start to feel the bite. So never go too big, never try the massive ones, which are obviously wrong. Keep to the guide that's on the packaging. One of the best tips I can give you is when you're pruning, never prune right under it, because you know the branch is going to fall right on your head. So stand slightly out, reach over and cut. So if a branch is obviously bigger than the guide that you've got on the packaging, then I wouldn't attempt it with a pair of loppers. I mean, you can always just reach up. If it's too wide, you're never going to get that compression. And these ones over here, you can give it a little squeeze, but you see you start to get the bite. And I'm not in a very good position to be able to be up there and use that leverage. So I'm going to switch from the loppers to the saw. And now I can just use the saw. Well, there you have it. The difference in between a pair of loppers and a saw. The saw is a pretty good bit of kit when branches get too thick, but the loppers are much better for cutting some of those smaller branches. And remember to check on the packaging for the diameter of the branches they cut. Today's video has been sponsored by AMES Tools. Thanks, AMES. For more information on gardening and the right tools to use when gardening, just visit the website ames-tools.co.uk.